slightly unknown here at the Positive Perception YouTube channel. Going into the first of what will hopefully be many broadcasts on the iRacing service. Yes, we have turned to the dark side, shall we say. Really excited for this one. This is actually kind of weirdly, in a roundabout way, this is the start of our foray into it, but it's actually the season finale of the event that's running this evening. Very, very pleased to partner with the guys over at Tanso Racing Group, who are running a very, very popular GR86 Sunday League that is getting really, really good attendances and things like that over the last couple of weeks. So we are partnering up with them for the foreseeable future to bring the broadcasting to those of you who are watching from live at home. So welcome. For those of you who haven't come along before, welcome. It's lovely to have you all. Already seen a few people drop over, a few new subscribers coming through, loads of likes on the stream, which is fantastic. All that interaction is fantastic. So bring it all in. Let us know where you watch from, who you're rooting for this evening. And like I say, this will be the format for the next season that starts in a few weeks' time as well. I'm delighted to be joined this evening, before we touch on to a few more bits, by Ash Coupland, who's running the broadcast this evening. Ash, good evening to you, my friend. Now, GR86s, these are a car that you've spent a bit of time in iRacing, aren't they? What are your thoughts around kind of the bits that are maybe more difficult than some of the other cars that are in the service when you're starting out on the sim?
They're an interesting car to drive. Some things similar to other cars on iRacing. You know, you have to modulate the brake pedal a lot more with iRacing than other platforms. They're a car that you seem to have to get on the nose to get the pace out of them. Like I say, modulate that brake pedal, keep your corner speed up, as with any slower car class, and really, just go for it with these little things. They're great fun. With it being single car class, you also get usually really good racing. So hopefully that's what we'll see tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, like you say, I think we've got about 30 or so in the field this evening for the finale, which is fantastic. Normally, I think with most of these kind of events, you expect to see a bit of drop off, but to see 30 still on the grid by the end of it shows you, I think, the quality of racing that we've got. As you can probably tell already, I should have mentioned this at the top of the stream, we are at Oulton Park for this season finale. It's the Oulton Park layout without Brittens. So we're all the way down from from Lodge to Shell Oils Corner. So one side of the Cheshire Hills to the other, just without that fiddly chicane in the middle, which I think a lot of people tend to dislike. But as Ash was mentioning here, fixed setup in these ones. Qualifying is currently underway, as you might have seen by one of the cars on the scenic cameras just jumping through. I think that is Shell Oils Corner that was on the stream a second ago, so you'll be able to see them going through there. We will get underway with the racing in a moment, but because it's lone qualifying, there's no benefit to us showing you what that looks like at the end of the day. So once we've done that, that will set the grid for the first race, and it's 2 20-minute sprint races. So we'll have one first race that will then be reversed through the top 12, and then the top 12, so effectively 12 becomes first. So kind of a la BTCC sort of vibes, except there's no randomised grid order. And then we'll go for another 20-minute lights to flag race after that as well. Now, we've got a couple of minutes left, I believe. A few minutes until things do get underway. So let's just wrap things up in terms of the standings ahead of this evening. 45 points per race, I should add. So 90 points on offer in total, which does mean that the top 5 at least the top 5 in both standings can take it. So just to give you a bit of background, because again, appreciate this is new to a lot of you, will be much more au fait of this come the first round in a couple of weeks' time for the new season. But there are 2 groups available. You'll notice that every driver, when we go into the race, will have an A or a B next to them, and that dictates for you guys to know who is who. The A group is anyone with an I rating of 1,500 or over. The B group is for anyone 1,500 or less. So nice and simple to give you a bit of flavour. But in terms of the Group A driver standings, Arthur Thurtle is leading the way. He's 44 points to the good ahead of Daniel Wareham, who is then 36 points ahead of Dan Mould. And then Alan McCain and Rob Sutherland are both on 233 points apiece. So those 5 are all within 87 points, which means, like I say, if anything goes wrong for Arthur this evening, then there's every chance someone could come in and scoop up that title at the last time of asking. In terms of the B group, B driver standings, it's Mark Brown who leads the way in that one. He's got a 46-point gap to Gareth Newton, and then Ryan Dudley sits in P3 in that one. He's 11 points further back. Those are the main three that can do anything in terms of this side of the championship. But again, still plenty to play for as we go further down at the positions. 30 people in each one. So it's really good to see, like I say, it's fantastic to see that there's that much kind of attendance, really, as much as anything else. It's always good to see when you get a series like this that you got the longevity. And as I've said before, the guys over at Tanso have done a really good job of managing all of this. So we're just basically waiting to kick things off. But Ash, before we do, this is like I say, it's a new foray for us, isn't it? But you and I have spent a lot of time on the iRacing service over the last few weeks. Of course, we did the iRacing Bathurst 12 hours a few weeks back, and it's nice to go onto the broadcast side of things, isn't it? I think it gives you a different outlet, and hopefully, as you said before, should with a fixed setup, spec cars, all that sort of stuff, should see two pretty interesting races around what is a relatively tight circuit, isn't it? So overtaking will be difficult, I think. So you thinking they're probably going to have to plan it out a little bit in advance, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously a lot of these guys will have raced all season with each other, so I would assume that they'll know what each other's traits are and what their weaknesses are. So it'll be interesting to see how that plans out. Like you say, we've done a bit of iRacing over the past few weeks. This is our first foray into broadcasting on iRacing, so I'm looking forward to what racing we see with the guys over at Tanso over the coming months.
Yeah, absolutely. Big thanks to John and the admin team for taking up on the offer. Effectively, we slid into the DMs a couple of weeks ago just to kind of propose a suggestion. Gives us the chance to bring you guys some more stuff on the Posperd channel. And again, like I've said before, thank you to those of you who have subscribed since that's come through. I know there's a few people I would expect to have jumped on the gravy train over from TRG, which is fantastic. But for those of you who normally associate us with our ACC stuff, then welcome along. Don't switch off because it says iRacing in the bottom corner. I can guarantee you there's going to be some good content regardless. I think, looking at the little flicker I just saw, I wonder if the server may have just reset. So hopefully we'll get underway for the first of the two races in a moment's time. In the meantime, let me just go into the plan for next season, because like I say, we are getting ready for next season as well as this one. Because like I say, this is the last one for tonight. But yeah, be going out to the Posperd channel for the entirety of the new season that we do. So it's going to be a promo fun race at Oulton Park without Brittens, the same as we are at the moment on the 12th of March. We're not going to be working on that particular one, but from the 19th of March all the way through to the 23rd of April, we'll be hosting 6 rounds, 6 double-header rounds of the championship. So we're starting off at Okayama, moving over to Rudskogen. Then we've got round 3 at Brands Hatch GP circuit, Oran Park Raceway for round number 4. The Legacy Silverstone circuit, I think it's the national layout, I believe, for rounds 9 and 10. And then to finish things off, a little trip up the motorway, up the M1, a little bit further up into Leicestershire for the Donington Park GP circuit for the finale. So loads of really good tracks in there, Ash, isn't there? There's lots to work with, lots of British circuits, which I quite like to see. I'm a fan of a British circuit, and I think as a result, again, nice tight twisty circuits. They're perfect for these little Toyotas, aren't they? Because you can really kind of get up close and personal in these cars, can't you?
Yeah, it's definitely a good set of tracks for these cars. It's not, like I say, it's nice to see some British tracks in there as well. I know you've got a vast list of tracks to use on iRacing, so it's nice to see that people are still trying to use some of the British tracks alongside with a couple of other international tracks in there. So yeah, I think looking at the list of tracks, they should all bring pretty decent racing in these cars.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think another thing we should probably mention, we'll discuss and tackle the elephant in the room in the form of the fact that iRacing is a paywall service at the end of the day, as we can see the cars go around to set up the formation lap. Paywall service at the end of the day. So one thing we have to consider is the fact that there has to be maybe a crossover in terms of going for that free content, going for the paid ones as well. So nice to see they're taking into account the options effectively for everyone. Because of course the GR86 is a free car. Oulton Park, as example, is one of the free tracks, and like I say, I think only 2 or 3 of them for next season are paid tracks. But anyway, we'll stop talking about paywalls, not that sort of boring stuff, because we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about racing. As you can see, Arthur Thurtle is going to lead the way off. It looks like they're going to be getting a nice early start as they head up through Deerleap and through to Old Hall Corner for the first time, as they cross the line to kick off this first race of 2 this evening. As they go into Old Hall Corner, Arthur's going to take the inside line. He's got, I think it's Dan Mould in behind him, very, very close behind the 2 of them, looking like they're nose to tail, going down the hill through Dentons and down towards Cascades for the first time. And it's going to be interesting to see. Looks like in the background everyone has generally made it through cleanly, which is fantastic to see. Looking at the track map on the top right corner of the screen, you can see there just confirmation. It looks like everyone has gotten through. A little bit of puff of smoke in the background, but Arthur has kept his position in P1 as they head through Island Bend and into Shellow's Corner. Is Dan going to look at the inside? He is not on this occasion. Still got 20 minutes, of course, this race is. It feels like a sprint, but there will be some time for position. Look at this. He's pushing him out of Shell Oil's corner and straight up the hill again. Ash, another chance here to get some slipstreams. They head up the hill and down towards Hislop Chicane.
Yeah, it's good racing at the start. I think it all looks pretty clean as he looks down the inside there.
Yeah, can he get the move done? Looks like Arthur's just got a little bit wide there. Manages to hold on to it though. He's just going to push him right the way outside. That's going to give. I think that's not Jamie in behind him. I don't know who that is behind him in P3 at the moment. We'll hopefully wait until the timing chart decides to kick itself into gear and gives us a bit more information about what's going on. But Arthur has lost the position there to, it probably isn't Dan Mould, come to think of it. Hopefully we'll get an idea as we go over the line for the first time. But going through towards Druids towards Lodge, it looks like, yeah, still everyone getting away cleanly. I can see a positive perception car. That's Aaron Kirby in the background. I can see that pink stripe and the positive livery I'm very familiar with. I've done all of the ones in the iRacing service up until this point, but looks like Arthur is just about starting to get a bit of pressure. To be fair to him, in fact, yes, it is. So it is Arthur in second, and that is Sam Smith, I believe. I'm just waiting for all of this to figure out what it wants to do. Hopefully, we'll get an idea and a flavour in a second. There we go. It's just starting to get itself into gear. So just as a reminder, then the A and the B on the names on the left-hand side there, that is your groupings. Some of them, I think, so the 2 positive perception drivers, Aaron and Jamie, have dropped in last minute for this one. So I think they've probably just been put in B anyway, but that will tell you the important parts of this. I would expect that most of our drivers with the A next to them are going to be up towards the top. But Arthur there looks to the inside. In fact, no, defending from the outside from Dan Warren, that is, I believe. So he's trying to get the move done there. Alan McCain and Craig Walters right on the back of them as well. This is fantastic stuff as they go back up the hill, skipping out Brittens, as we mentioned before, since the layout, which ignores that interim chicane. As there you go, Arthur's under pressure. Ash, he was leading the championship, but he's struggling a little bit early doors with the pace of some of these front runners.
Yeah, he's lost a couple of places off the start. He just needs to compose himself and try and work his way back up the field. Try and get back into a more of a commanding position.
Absolutely. He's already lost the position to Sam Smith, who you can see is on the track at the moment. Not the Sam Smith, I would have thought, unless their name has a J in the middle. Make sure we get our pronouns right, everybody. And look at that, Dan Mould starting to make a bit of a gap. He's got, 0.7 of a second out front at the moment. He's basically benefiting from the fact that everyone behind him seems to be battling quite a bit as it stands. The number 80 car, the SRL branded GR86 on this one. But look at this. He's starting to get a little bit of comfort here. Of course, what that will mean is that puts him back into 12th place as it stands for when this race resets again. We've got 19 minutes left by my count, although I'm not entirely sure that is correct. I think we've probably got a little bit less than that. We can see there's one car who is out and seems to have been caught up in something. The person in last place was going around up towards or up the hill and back down towards Hislops. There we go. Sam Smith. Is he going to have a little bit of pressure? He is going through Island Bend. He's got Arthur Turtle up the inside. This is really super close between these guys. Oh, cuts his nose away a little bit there. And the iRace 527 car, he manages to hold on. That was firm but fair, you would say. And looks like that. Actually, we talked about it a minute ago at the top of the broadcast. But need to really kind of almost sculpt out these overtakes, don't you? As Arthur's looking to the outside now as they come down into his lops. We'll see whether he can get the move. Can he get the move? He goes to the inside. Doesn't manage it on this occasion. Just about has to settle in and go again. And yeah, really having to play a little bit of, almost a bit of chess in a sense, aren't they, Ash, to try and get these moves done. They're going to have to try and plan it a little bit further in advance, you'd think.
Yeah, definitely. So these obviously with these cars being the same, they'll have the same pace down the straight and stuff like that. So it's all going to be about how you tackle the corners. You need to make sure you maximise exit speeds, things like that. As it looks like he's Arthur's going down the inside. A little bit of door banging there. It looks like they've managed to get everybody through safely after that little bit of a nudge.
Looks like they have done indeed, and that's relegated Sam Smith quite the way down, as it down back into, I think that was P4, and I think he just about, no, in fact, no, sorry, it is P5. Arthur Turtle manages to get himself up into P2. Daniel Wareham's followed him through into P3. Alan McCain is closely followed. In fact, no, Sam Smith has dropped down to P6, I think. Looking at that, I've just noticed that him and someone else have exactly the same livery on their car. So because I've not seen many of these people drive before, I'm still trying to figure out some of these names. We will do better next season. I can promise you that. We've got a chance to familiarise ourselves. Look at that, Craig. Craig going around the outside. Sorry, that is Alan McCain, I believe, getting caught up there on the inside of Ireland. But Shellow's corner just gets very sideways. Not sure if there was any contact between them, but he's dropped back. They've got Harry Fox now. He's looking at the inside, so he's going to get himself up into what would be P4. As yeah, that was Alan McCain. He gets caught up in that. And I think Sam Smith was one of those caught up in the incident as well. Because look at these, the two iRace cars, both very close to it. No, there's a bit of contact there. Got people off into the wall. Alan McCain is one of them, and that's one of the Whisk cars there as well. He's gone off through Knickerbrook, and Alan McCain back up and running, but that has dropped him right the way down the field, and there's one of the other cars slowly heading up the hill, heading up Clay Hill as well. Craig Walters up into, I think this is P6 now, looking at that. Lovely livery on that car, balancing the matte and the metallic beautifully so on that little mark down the left-hand side, which comes out beautifully around the tight, twisty corners of Oulton Park.
I think Craig is actually fourth, David. Just the timing. I don't think the timing screen's quite caught up with it yet. They've not gone through a split as it's just shown there. It's just popped up on the timing screen on the left-hand side. Yes. So Craig's actually sitting in fourth.
Very good spot indeed. That, as you can see, look at that. All changing as everyone goes through across the line onto another lap of this Oulton Park circuit. As Rob Sutherland in P6 now. He's looking to put a bit of pressure onto Ryan Dudley ahead of him. And Ryan Dudley actually the fastest or the top of the B group drivers at the moment. And it looks like he's maybe not going to make this too difficult for Rob. Is he going to let him make the move around the outside? He's not. He's going to hold on to the position. And Rob makes probably rather a sensible move, doesn't he there, Ash? And just elects to fight another day and drops in behind. It looks like he's got the pace, doesn't he? He's just going to have to be a little bit smart and make the move at the right time.
Yeah, he definitely looks like he's got the pace. Like I say, he just needs to spend a little bit more time behind Ryan. Maybe try and figure him out, try and figure out where he's slower, and plot his next move.
Yeah, absolutely. Still plenty of time left to go. We're just over a quarter of a way into this first race of two. As we mentioned before, two races this evening, both 20 minutes. Second race, the top 12 will be inverted as there. Look, Ryan Dudley going a little bit wide, coming out of the Knickerbrook chicane up Clay Hill. It's not done enough to impact his position on the track. As I think there's that RO or RD Sim Sport. I believe, in fact, it's probably, it's not RS Sim Sport at all. Ignore me completely. Further up on the field, battle for P2, as hot as it has been so far as we look at the back end of Arthur Thurtle's GR86. He's got Daniel Wareham very much on the back of him. It's almost being pushed up Deer Leap and into Old Hall Corner for another time. And Dan just sitting there and just waiting, plotting the move. And what this is doing is actually looks to be bringing them back up towards Dan Mould, who's leading this race as it stands. I wonder, Ash, whether there's maybe just a little bit of workmanship between these two, because that gap, although it's 1.9 seconds at the moment, it looks like there's definitely a possibility that these guys got the pace to potentially bring that back up and make that battle for the win a three-way thing.
Yeah, it looks like Arthur seemed to have found his pace after losing a couple of places on in the first couple of laps. These two not battling, so enabling themselves to catch up with Dan in front. So we might have a three-way battle for the lead on our hands soon.
Yeah, absolutely. You see gap now 1.6 between the two of them up at the top there. As yeah, so your leader at the moment, Dan Mould, with just over halfway left in to run in this race. Dan Mould leading the way. Arthur Thurtle sitting in P2 with Daniel Wareham just behind. You see the head-to-head at the bottom of your screen, giving you an idea of how those deltas are shaping up between the two of them. You can see at the moment Arthur just a little bit quicker. In fact, looking at their personal bests, I believe that is, he's a little bit quicker at the moment. So slightly closing the gap. He's gained what I would say maybe 3 or 4 tenths since the start of this lap. So if he keeps doing that, he'll be back on them soon enough. And I just saw in the foreground there a lapped car or a back marker that might potentially cause some hay as we continue further in. But anyway, Craig Walters sitting in P4, Ryan Dudley and Rob Sutherland battling out for P5 and 6 at the moment. Peter Sidcar and Sam Smith P7 and 8, and Stanley Jr. and Mark Brown round out your top 10 at the moment. Here is the aforementioned Ryan Dudley, who is leading the B group standings or the B group class race at this moment in time, but by quite a margin. I think the next person in tow there is Mark Brown, who's sitting currently in P10. So he's doing a fantastic job, and I think what he's really benefited from, Ash, in Ryan's form is he seems to have just stayed out of trouble so far in this race.
Yeah, definitely. He's made up a few places from the start, I believe. I can't quite remember where he started on the grid, but yeah, he's managed to stay out of trouble and is just sitting there quite nicely in 5th place there.
Yeah, absolutely, good job from him. Keeping, yeah, like I say, keeping your nose clean is as much as you can do at this moment in time. Sam Smith, of course, started off a bit further up the field, but has dropped down a little bit courtesy to the incidents and action he's been caught up in. And there is Stanley Jr., who has got Mark Brown close for company in behind. Is that a Ken Block Tribute Monster livery? I think it might be, looking at that. It's definitely the Monster Green, I can tell you that much on that Mark Brown 43 car. As they go down through his lops and into the Knickerbrook chicane. As there you go, look, Stanley just under a bit of pressure maybe, just goes a little bit wide in the middle of that chicane. But there you go, look like March has maybe got a little bit crossed up coming out of the exit and up towards Clay Hill. So nothing doing on this occasion. So it's really just a case of using this time and trying to plot your move and maybe just put a bit of pressure on. Maybe just give them the eyes, let them know you're there, all this sort of stuff. You kind of just really kind of frustrating your opponent, I guess, to a sense, Ash, isn't it? Maybe because making that move up the inside, just reminding them, putting yourself in their mirrors, and see maybe if you can force the mistake and then give yourself the chance to overtake, rather than just kind of going for a monumental last-minute send up the inside.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes it's always better to sort of take your time, try not to force a move. Just get in their mirrors, like you say. Make sure that you make them well aware that you are right there if they make any slightest mistake. That'll put pressure on, and you just got to hope that they do that. If not, then when you start to get later in the race, as we've only got 9.5 minutes left of this first 20-minute sprint, and then you might have to force a move. But yeah, just try and get in the mirrors, try and put them off as much as you can.
Absolutely. Looks like Eugene is having a little bit of that done onto him by Harry Fox at the moment. Looking at this, they go into Shell Oil's corner for another time. And it looks like, I mean, look at that. You can see the camber through the corner. That really gives Harry a chance to really get on the back of him. He's almost pushing him up the hill. And there you go. Look, gets to the inside. Importantly, inside line as they go up the hill, over through the hilltop and down towards Hislops. He's going to be alongside, if not slightly ahead. In fact, he is, cuts across, gets the racing line and move done. It was almost like he had a bit of DRS then. A la Formula One, he got so much better of a run out of Shell Oil's corner that by the time they even got past where Brittens would normally be, he was alongside and trying to make the move. So good to see that man managing to get the position done and up into 13th place. Meanwhile, up at the front, as we talked about, Ash, that gap has fallen and Dan is under a bit of pressure now. It's not necessarily from both Arthur and Daniel behind, but Arthur Thurtle definitely within striking distance, you would say.
Yeah, Daniel seems to have dropped off the pace a little bit. He's not managed to go with Arthur in front. I see he was about 4 tenths slower on the previous lap. So yeah, Arthur's definitely kept his pace pretty consistent. Um, Managed to bridge that gap up into first place, and it looks like he's got the grit between his teeth to try and battle for this lead.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly doing a job of that. Got what, 7.5 minutes left, so still a little bit of time to get that move done as they head up hilltop and down towards Hislops for another time. Is he going to look for a move here? He's very close. He looks to the inside. Is he going to make that lunge? He's not. Again, just talking about just doing what we were talking about earlier, just reminding Dan that he's there. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still in your mirrors. I don't think Dan would have not noticed him anyway, but it's good to do that just to maybe see if you can get the mind games going. And this is a battle, of course, like I say, for the race win in this first of two races. Of course, what this does mean is that whoever wins this one will start in 12th for the second and final race of the evening, and 11th, 10th, and so on and so forth. So at the moment, Harry Fox, according to the timing chart, will be your pole man ahead of the second race. We'll see if that changes. I wonder, Ash, if you're in that position, if you're in Harry Fox's shoes right now, let's say you're you're half a second back off of Carl Hardy ahead of you. Are you going for that move? Are you looking for the extra points in this first race, or would you maybe just sit back a little bit and just maybe try and forecast and get that pole position for race number 2?
I mean, I'm always trying to win in every race that I compete in, so I probably wouldn't be thinking about where I'm going to be on the grid in the next race. To be honest, I would just be staring at the back of the car in front, thinking I need that position. But I suppose it all depends on where the championship is as well. You never know whether Harry needs that extra point to make a couple of positions in the championship, and which is going to be more beneficial to him.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you say, always plays into the hands of people a little bit. Interestingly, I'm just looking at it at the moment. So Harry is a little bit further back from Carl Hardy, who's ahead of him in the championship. So maybe not something you need to worry too much about. But let's focus on this one. Flashing of the lights from Arthur Thurtle as they go down towards Hislops. Is he going to try and get the move done? He's going to have the outside into the first chicane. Will he get the chance to get the inside into the second? Does he get alongside? This is almost role reversed to what we had at the start of the race. He doesn't, and there you go. Dan looks to hold on to it, but is there a switchback as they come up the hill towards Watertown and down towards Druids? Look at this. That's giving Daniel Ware a chance to get right up into the thick of things as well. He's almost boxed in a little bit as he sits in behind Dan Mole, but slightly alongside going into Druids' double left-hander, double right-hander, sorry. Oh, he's up the inside. Is Arthur. He's going to get the move done. It's so close. Look at this racing from these two. This is fantastic stuff, and this is exactly why we've been talking about the fact that we wanted to get this broadcasted out to all of you who are watching at the moment, because look at this. Dan just covers off the inside. That's giving Daniel Ware a chance to go around the outside, and I think he's done it through Lodge Corner. Chance for that. You've got a back marker out on the left hand side, on the right hand side of the tracks. They're going to get past him, but look at that. There you go, Ash. That proves how good this racing can be. Arthur's looking at the move for P1, and as a result, comes out of Lodge Corner onto the next lap in P3.
Yeah, definitely. The Daniel might not have been able to go with Arthur at his best pace, but the battle in the front has given him an opportunity, and he's taken it with both hands.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic, opportunistic move from the number 73 car on that occasion. But look at this, he's being forced through Island Bend by the championship leader into Shell Oil's corner. Sorry, you see that camber just creates the chance for you to get on the power so early as they go back up the hill. And let's see whether Daniel just elects to defend or whether he just gives the chance up. We'll see whether even Arthur even tries to make the move as they go up the hill and down back towards Hislops for another time. And there you go. He just looks to the inside, just reminds Dan he's there, but it's line astern into Hislops on this occasion. You see, look how close they go to those tyre wall on the inside. You want to be really careful because if you hit that, that could be some serious suspension damage if you get caught on it. But not on this occasion. And yeah, I think you're right, Ash. It just looks like he's made the chance, and fair play to him to getting that move done, but just looks to be dropping off of Dan Mould at the wrong time here, and that's going to mean that Arthur's just going to have to try and maybe force the move, because I think Arthur's maybe got the pace to put the move on Dan, but I don't know whether Wareham does.
Yeah, definitely. Arthur will be trying to get past as soon as possible. We've only got 3 minutes left, so probably 2 laps left of this race. So if he wants to have a chance of battling for that lead again, he needs to get past Daniel as soon as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I'm looking there. Did I just see a flag being waved? I can't see. Oh, it's a white flag, isn't it? I think that is. So it's the last lap of the race. Looks like the timing chart has decided to kick in a couple of minutes late on this occasion. So I'm pretty sure this is the last tour of this circuit for race number one. Dan Mould leading the way. Daniel Wareham goes a little bit deep into Cascades there. Can he keep it back in? He does. He just manages to hold that back in, and that's going to give Arthur all the impetus he needs to want to make that move. Whether he goes for it down into Oulton's corner or not, that remains to be seen. It looks like he's just going to sit in behind. And as they go through Island Bend into Oulton's corner, not going to make the move this time. Going to use that camber, get the best exit he possibly can, and see whether he can get the move done into Hislop. But one remains to be seen. If he can get that move done into Hislop's, whether he can get the chance to try and do the double take and get Dan Mould before the end of the race as well. There we go. Look right up on the inside, getting as much slipstream as he can. Pulls to the inside. He's alongside him now. He's very much alongside the number 75 car as they go, number 73 as they go into the braking zone, into Hislop's. He's going to go inside, outside. He's going to get hung out to dry though. Can he get the inside as they go into Nickelbrett? Oh, it's so close. But no, he doesn't manage to do it. So it looks like to me that we've got our winner crowned, unless there's any mistake from the number 80 machine of Dan Mould. He's going to disappear off and he's going to be waving in his wing mirrors as these two continue to battle. Let's just see whether there will be any change for the second and third step on the podium. As they go through Druids for the final time and into Lodge Corner, final heavy braking zone. It looks like he's a bit further back. We'll look from the rear of Wareham's car. No, looks like just Arthur's just playing it safe. Sensible move from him. Knows that he's going to be ahead of these two as they go into race number two. But your winner for the first race this evening, Daniel Mould takes the win in this one. Daniel Wareham comes through in P2 and Arthur Thurtle takes P3 for this one. Craig Walters a little bit further back is going to come through in P4 with Ryan Dudley in P5. Rob Sutherland taking P6. Of course, Ryan Dudley taking the B group win for the first race this evening. Mark Brown comes through in P7, Stanley Jr. P8, Alan McCain P9 after an eventful start to his race, and Carl Hardy rounds out your top 10. Eugene Weber, Peter Sidcar and Sam Smith P10, P11, 12 and 13. You see they're coming across the stripe there. And that means that Peter Sidcar will be your pole position man for this race. Aaron Kirby coming through in P16 in the end. Harry Fox, Jamie Buchanan there coming through in P18. Gav Newton and Daniel Lewis round out your top 20. Plenty more to cross the line, which is the beauty of this series. Still got loads of racing going on. James Bostock here under a bit of pressure from Sarah Kadesla. I think I've pronounced that right. Hughes, sorry if I haven't. Please come and tell me if I've not done. I'd love to make sure it's right. But James Bostock under a bit of pressure as they go across the line. Is he going to lose to P22 over the line? Let's see as they cross the line. No, it looks like he's just about held on to it. But that was close in the air, wasn't it? That was really close stuff. And I mean, that was brilliant because there was fighting all the way up and down the field. We didn't manage to catch a lot of it because there was still so much going on. But we'll take a short break now, and we'll be back in a minute for race number 2. Yep, testing, testing. Can you hear me? Papa, can you hear me? All right, here we go then, folks. Getting ready for things to get back up to speed again. So race number 2 of the evening, another 20-minute affair for you. Just going through or wrapping up the warm-up session, as you can see, and then like we say, another 20-minute lights to flag race for you to wrap things up for the evening and for the season. We'll be coming back into things in a minute. So we've just got to wait for this, as I said before. Reverse grid of the top 12. So, as you can see there, the feature race time chart has come up. Peter Sidcar will lead us away from the front of the grid on this occasion. Eugene Weber, alongside him, Carl Hardy and Alan McCain make up your second row. Stanley Jr. and Mark Brown, row 3. Rob Sutherland and Ryan Dudley, P7 and 8. Craig Walters and Arthur Thurtle round out in the top 10. And then Daniel Wareham and Dan Mould are the 12 changes, shall I say, from the first race. It's as you were from further down. So Sam Smith, Jay DeVries, Kieran Gannon, Aaron Kirby, and so on and so forth. So just got to wait now, Ash, for things to kick off again and get ourselves underway for the final race of the season, final race of the championship as well. It looks like everything's kind of set up for Arthur to take things, but again, like I said before, there's enough of a chance if he gets caught up in anything and doesn't manage to make it to the end, then the championship is there for the taking, isn't it?
Yeah, I say we've both watched enough BTCC over the years to know that these reverse grids can cause all sorts of mayhem. So anything can happen, really. We've just got to hope all these guys manage to get through nice and safely, and hopefully we should have some good racing again.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots to look forward to again, and thank you for those of you who have joined in so far. And if you are enjoying it, obviously, as you know that people say nowadays, hit the thumbs up on the stream. So loads of people have done already, which is great. And make sure if you haven't done, you hit the subscribe button, because of course, as I said before at the top of the stream, this isn't going to be a one-off. We are going to be coming back and broadcasting the entirety of the Tanso Racing Group GR86 League from next season as well. So all 12 races or 6 rounds from that one. But anyway, let's get underway for this one. Peter Sidcar is going to lead us away from the grid for this feature race, second of 2 races of this evening and final race of the championship. And it looks like they are underway here for the final time here at Oulton Park as they go down towards Old Hall Corner for the first time. Eugene Weber just around the outside, but he's going to have Carl Hardy for company up the inside there. Looks like he's going to get the move done, is he? In fact, no, just looks like he's held on. They've got a driver off on the grass off to the back left there as they come steaming down towards Cascades. Oh, that's contact there. We've got a few people off there. Can see hopefully no one's going to come back on as they go through Cascades and catch anyone. No, it looks like we've all made it through cleanly other than those two. Aaron Kirby, you can see just to the background there, and this is Mark Brown under a bit of pressure from Dan Wareham, who has had a storming start alongside Arthur Thurtle when they kick things off. In fact, no, that's the other way round, sorry. Mark Brown's had a little bit of a stinker of a start, I should say, and has dropped a few positions as a result of that. But it looks like as they go through Shadow's Corner, despite the fact we had a few offs, it looks like everyone has managed to stay pretty close together on the grid. You see by the track map, everyone's relatively close together on track as it stands. And here we go, look at this, 3 wide, nearly going into his lops for the first time. Sam Smith, as you look at the inside, he's going to try and make the move. It looks like he's got the move done on, I think that is Dan Mould, before the corner even happens, and there's a car off to the left as well. It's all kicking off in this one. I think that is the blessing and maybe a curse sometimes of the reverse grid. You just get people who are maybe just a little bit out of kilter with some of this, as you can see as they go up towards Clay Hill and through down towards Druids. That is Sam Smith. Look at the inside, we drop into the cockpit cam of this number 527 car. He's got, I don't know who that is in front of him because the timing chart will hopefully kick itself into gear once we cross the line for the first time in just a minute. But I believe it's Peter Sidcar leading the way still from Eugene Weber, and Carl Hardy in behind, it looks like, as they come through Lodge Corner, up through Deerleap and up towards the start of the first full proper lap of this one. There you can see in fact Eugene Weber, taking the lead in this one. Look at this, Sam Smith under a bit of pressure. He's got Dan Mould looking at the inside. Can he get the move done? He can't on this occasion, but that's going to give him the opportunity he needs. It just kind of gives Sam a little kind of food for thought. Right, trying to make the move, need to be a little bit careful as it looks like actually we've basically kind of picked up from where he left off in the last race. His action's non-stop.
Yeah, it's great racing, mostly clean as well, which is nice to see. We've got the Dan who won the first race just sat behind Sam there, he'll want to try and make a move and work his way up to the front of the pack, definitely. Arthur is closely following behind, making sure that he doesn't let Dan go this time, try and get that race win if these guys can climb their way to the top.
Absolutely, Arthur, yeah, like you say, losing a position off the start to Dan on this occasion, so if you wanted to try and get that move done as soon as he can. Eugene Weber, though, leading the way with Peter Sidcar has dropped down a position. Oh, a bit of contact there between two people. I think that might have been Ryan Dudley who's been caught up in that one. Sam Smith is the beneficiary, and that's Carl Hardy, I believe, just ahead of him. In fact, no, so yeah, it was Ryan Dudley who got caught up in that one. See, I'm remembering names already. You can tell that's the start of a good thing, he says. But it's dropped him right the way back down. Sam Smith there, he's got Dan Mould looking to the outside of Druids. Can't get the move done on this occasion. So it's as you were through there, line of Carl Hardy just ahead of them on track. Alan McCain, Peter Sidcar and Eugene Weber have disappeared off out front. They've got a battle pack, a peloton, if you will. In fact, no, that's the group behind. This is the peloton, if I remember my cycling terminology in any form. Probably got both of them wrong, to be fair. But you go on to lap number 3. You see that, I think that's Arthur Thurtle, and Daniel Wareham side by side into Old Hall Corner. We'll see whether that's position change. It isn't. It looks like there, as we can see, just going back down the grid, Harry Fox in P9, Mark Brown P10, Aaron Kirby P11, Kieran Gannon P12, Jay DeVries, Stanley Junior P13, 14, Sean Weber, Michael Seal, Gareth Newton, James Bostock and Ryan Dudley, and Daniel Lewis rounding out the 20 cars that you can see on the stands at the moment. I think we've got a few more on track somewhere. I can't quite see exactly where they are. I can see the last running car as well, that P28, I believe that is, who's a little bit ahead of the leaders as it stands. So back markers going to come into play relatively soon, you would expect, Ash. And of course, there's so much action going on. We don't really need to have more back markers into it, but I'm all for it.
Yeah, definitely. The racing, like I said before, the racing's been absolutely fantastic. Everybody's driving really nice and cleanly on the most part, and yeah, and as a result, we're seeing some fantastic racing between these guys.
Absolutely, like I say, tight, twisty track that is Oulton Park with spec cars and a fixed setup normally generates pretty good racing. It puts all the onus on the drivers to really get every ounce of skill they can out of these cars. There is Mark Brown, who's currently sitting in P10. He's got Aaron Kirby close for company. He's one of the positive perception drivers. You can see that livery, that little pink stripe indicates that is his car, although I know, Ash, that is your car. In fact, that is basically your car, Ash, because you like the number 5 and you also drive the pink accent on the car. So how does that make you feel looking at this?
Yeah, he stole my number and he stole my colour.
We'll have to have some serious words of him back at POSPER HQ, but good to see him getting out onto the back end of the top 10. He's going to try and put Mark Brown under a bit of pressure. He's running, what is that, second in class in that B group as it stands. Of course, as we said at the top of the stream, this is all run by iRating. So if you've got an iRating of 1.5k or higher, you go into Group A. To 1.5k or lower, you go down to Group B, or it's probably up to and above. There's ways to make this sound like it makes sense. So let's just run with that. Anyway, Alan McCain sitting P2 in the iRace number 212 car. He has managed to make the move past Pete Sidco. He's dropped a couple of positions. Sikdar, sorry, I've just realised I've been saying that the wrong way round the whole time throughout the season. I apologise, Peter, if you watch the back. But he's dropped down to P3. He's got Carl Hardy close behind, but Alan McCain is looking at seeing whether he can make a move on Eugene Weber, who has started off the number 1 car with a little bit of form. He's made the move early doors on Sikdar, who took pole position through the courtesy of the reverse grid and is looking like it. Ash, he's on good form for, isn't he? He's managing the gap well. He doesn't look too under pressure. He's not doing anything kind of too aggressive with the car or anything. It looks to me like he might just be managing this at the moment so far. Anyway, he's doing a good job of it.
Yeah, he's doing a good job of it. Say Alain's last lap was quicker and his best is quicker as well. So he's definitely got the pace to catch Eugene up at the front. Whether he's got the pace to get past or not, and whether he's got enough pace to keep Peter behind him by the end of the race is going to be another question.
Absolutely, to quote the late Gregory Walker, getting up to someone is one thing enough. Getting past them is quite another. And as you mentioned there, Ash, Alan's going to have to be a little bit careful, as you rightly pointed out, because yes, he's got someone he wants to try and overtake ahead of him, but he's got to be very careful of the number 3 position car of Peter Sikdar in behind him, and that's Carl Hardy looking at the inside through Cascades. That is an opportunistic move, to say the least. It looked like Peter just got a little bit out of shape, just drifted a little bit wide, bit of understeer, maybe caught up on the marbles there, and that's given Carl all the opportunity he needed. Gets the move done, puts himself up into P3, and that's Arthur Thurtle and Daniel Wareham, who are just a couple of car lengths behind. They managed to dispatch Dan Mould. He's down into P8 with Harry Fox in between them. And it looks like we've had a couple of changes further up into the top 10 as Aaron Kirby and Mark Brown have made their way into there as well. I think that's Sam Smith, actually, I think, who might have dropped out. I'm trying to remember my names and where they've been on the timing chart so far, so I think that might be why. We'll see if we can get any more confirmation on that as we go through. But look at this. I mean, this actually is this. I think this is a battle. I think that's an 8-car battle for the lead, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're all pretty close together. Alain is sort of leading the train at the moment. These guys are running very close together. As we said, this single car make series always produce great racing like this. And like we said before, I'm very much looking forward to seeing next season's Tanso GT86 series.
Absolutely, there you go. 100%. Daniel Wareham got Harry Fox up the inside. Dan Mould's on the scene now as well. So they've kind of dropped back a little bit with a little bit of battling. Dan Mould thinking about this. Look at that, he's taking the slipstream up through Old Hall Corner. That's a big dive from Harry Fox. Can he get the move? Or can he hold on to the position, rather, I should say? Aaron Kirby gets himself up into. In fact, that's Peter Sikdar who's dropped out of the top 10. I don't know what's happened with him there. He's dropped right out of the running now, so he must have got caught up in something. There was a car off there. There is Peter Sikdar. He's still running, so I don't know what's happened. I think that was Carl Hardy, possibly, who we might have just seen off to the inside of Cascades. Didn't quite catch it. Whether we can see there, there's little, but it's all change up at the front of this one. will hopefully get a bit of a flavour of that. I think this might be a big battle for P1 because Eugene Weber is up into P1 by the looks of it. That is Eugene Weber, your front man who's got stock GR86, the Gazoo Racing livery, I think that is. If I'm not mistaken. Daniel Wareham, though, has got a run. Is he going to try and make a move down into Hislop's? No, he looks to the inside, just drifts a little bit of the car out from behind the number 7 machine. But as they go through Hislop's, nothing changing position-wise on this occasion. And yes, that is right. Yeah, this is the battle for P1, so it's all changed. Wareham has managed to get right up on the back of him, Dan Moulding behind him, and Arthur Thurtle, who was right up in this gap. In fact, he was ahead of both of these cars. Wareham and Mould a minute ago, he's dropped back, and it's just not really going his way at the moment. But running down towards Lodge for another time, is that? Oh, I thought that was Dan Mould looking at the inside. It's not. He's looking to the outside. I mean, that's never going to happen. Let's be frank. And looks like this, Ash. I mean, it's hard to keep a track of, isn't it? There's so much going on as we hit the halfway point of this race. Dan Wareham's looking at the inside. Dan Mould's getting Harry Fox look at the inside again into Old Hall Corner. He gets late on the brakes, isn't he? There, but just about. Looks like Dan's got the outside line through Old Hall Corner, pretty much on a tee, isn't he? He's very, very comfortable through this first part of the lap when he's under pressure.
Yeah, you definitely don't know where to watch at the moment. I'm looking at the timer screen, and there's cars, there's little bunches of cars, nose to tail, all down the field.
This is what we like to see. I'm certainly very happy to see that in particular, because it's always nice to see lots of stuff kicking off. As there you go, look at that. Weber's got a little bit wide there. He's going to lose the position to Dan Mould. He's going to try and go around the outside. The camera's going to help him a little bit, but as a result, he's been hung out to dry, and he's got Harry Fox up the inside. Alan McCain back on the scene of the crime as well. As they still up through Hilltop and down back towards Hislop's for another time. And look at this 5-car battle for the lead. This is why we wanted to partner up with the guys over at Tanso and get this broadcasted out to the masses, because we know how good this could be, and we're seeing it unfold at the moment as Dan Mould gets under the grass and catches up Weber as well. Oh, it was all looking so good for a fantastic kind of big bash finish to the end of this one. It's all coming back onto the track. There's people all over the place. Like Sam Smith, I think, bouncing over the inside curb. Hislop's trying to avoid Weber. He does manage to do it in the end, but that was super close, and it just looked like Ash. I don't know whether we can get a proper idea, but it looked to me like Dan Mould just maybe got on the grass a little bit, put the foot down, and then just lost the back end.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Dave. I think he just either too much brake turning in and just lost the rear under brakes, or just caught the grass somewhere and just brought the rear round. Unfortunately, he managed to catch the driver on the way through. It's just unfortunate, but everybody else seemed to manage to find their way through the gaps, which is good.
Yeah,
as you can see, Dan's opted to go for the pits.
Yeah, interesting there. Must have had a little bit of damage on the car, you would think, to cause that, but that's promoted Dan Wareham up into the lead of this race, Harry Fox up into second, and Alan McCain and Arthur Thurtle must think he's had all his Christmases come at once. He struggled to get past the aforementioned Wareham and Mould before, the two Dans, and as a result, one of them's disappeared. The other one's a bit further up the road, but he's now got a chance of consecutive podiums. So he's still well within that shot, because we've got about 6 minutes left of this race. I'm going to ignore the timing on the top left, because I know it didn't update until right, so we'll keep an eye on the white flag across the line as well a little bit in a few minutes time. But here we go, Alan McCain under a bit of pressure. He's electing to give Arthur the inside as they go down the hill towards Hislop's into the heavy braking zone. A little bit of swiggling under braking. He's going to have the outside now inside as it comes to the second apex, but as they go into the all-important third one for the exit at Play Hill, that is the move done for Arthur Thurtle. He gets past Alan McCain and up into P3 now. Sights very much set, and I'm thinking Terminator style here. Sights set on Harry Fox, although saying that, he's still got the 212 car very much holding station behind him. He's actually almost looking like actually pushing him through Druids there.
Yeah, these guys are doing a fantastic job of keeping things clean. You can tell that just that slight little mistake can cause a bit of a bad run down a straight. It gives the other driver an opportunity to get down the inside or around the outside, as we've seen a few times tonight. It looks like Arthur's managed to just hold that position for a few corners at the moment. Maybe he can now start thinking about looking forward and getting back up to Harry.
Absolutely, he's got a little bit of work to do now, hasn't he? Got that
Oh.
2.7 seconds gap as all. There we go. Look at that, Alan McCain getting very much out of shape there. I know there's a little bump as you go into the braking zone, so I'm not sure if he's just got a little bit too hot and heavy on the brake pedal and just lost the rear end or anything like that. But that's going to drop him a little bit further back. Still in 4th position, importantly, but I've just noticed in the background of the picture, our very own Aaron Kirby is very much on the scene now. Yeah, you can see him there just coming through Island Bend and into the braking zone at Shell Oil's corner. He's now, what, 1 point, about a second behind Alan McCain ahead of him. So he's going to be looking at a chance. Now, he's probably a little bit too far back for the podium, but we never know. See, Arthur's sitting in P3 at the moment, but looking at the track map, hopefully we'll catch it in a minute. Harry Fox and Daniel Wareham very, very close together. If they battle, could bring Arthur into the scene, and that could really bring us back into that 5-way battle that we saw earlier on in this race, and we might see a repeat of that one again as we come towards the final knockings of this second race of the evening, final race of the season, final round of the season, finales all over the shop for this one. And like I say, really, really excited to see what the next season will bring as we host the Tanso Racing Group GR86 League on Positive Perceptions YouTube channel for the foreseeable future. Come into Lodge Corner, Wareham still managing to hold on to P1. Harry Fox still close in tow though, so he's still got a chance, still close enough, Ash, you think, to maybe just give him the eye and just make Daniel a little bit more wary that he's got someone behind him, you think?
Yeah, definitely. So he's been quicker than him last couple of laps, so he will definitely see him catching on the timing screen if he's got timing screens available to him. But he'll definitely be able to see it in his mirrors anyway. He'll definitely be able to see that Harry is catching him on track. That will make him a little bit nervous, maybe watch his mirrors more than watching forward, make a couple more mistakes. All these things add up to tenths lost per lap, and then eventually, before you know it, you've got the driver behind right on your rear bumper.
Absolutely, and that's very much going to be the case soon if this continues to happen. Harry just looking to gain a little bit of time. It looks like he's a little bit quicker through those couple of corners, through Island Bend and into Shell Oils. As he's in the slipstream, and that's really the important thing, isn't it? He's got long enough straights. There's a couple of long straights here, of course, here at Oulton Park. So there's still plenty of opportunity for them to really kind of keep this battle. I can see Arthur Thurtle just creeping up in the background as well, and we've seen his pace, haven't we, Ash? Of course, he was pole position for the first race. Got a couple of incidents to his name in the first race. So obviously dropped down and then been caught up a little bit in it as well. But he's clearly got the pace, hasn't he? So even if these guys don't battle, we've got, what, a couple of minutes left, probably a lap, maybe 2 laps left. There's still a potential chance, even without these battling, if Arthur can bring up the pace that he's clearly proven he's got this Stephen.
Yeah, definitely. So he's about 1.5 seconds behind at the minute. He was half a second faster than both cars in front of him on that last lap. If he can maybe hope that these guys do a little bit of battling, I'm not sure he'll have enough time to actually get past. He might have enough time to catch them, but he might not have enough time to get past.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've just come on to the final lap. I'm pretty sure I saw a white flag being waved there, and I could imagine that's probably why Harry is looking to up the intensity a little bit as they go through Cascades. Tries to go for the cutback there, just tries a little bit of a different line as they go through the left-hander. It's kind of affectionately known as the mini Nürburgring Oulton Park because of its bumps and undulations that you go through, and it's a fantastic track, especially when you get it right. And in cars like this, it will be very, very good fun and action-packed as well as they go into Shell Oils, what I believe to be the final time. Come out of there onto the back straight. Big long run, as we say, we don't run through Brittens on this layout of the circuit, so big long run up the hill, plenty of chance for Harry to get that all-important slipstream, and it looks like he's going to. Is he going to jink to the inside, or is that going to be covered by Dan Wareham? It looks like he does. Harry's going to go to the inside. Daniel's thinking, right, outside here, inside to the next one, or closes him in, but all looks like Dan might go a little bit deep there. Arthur's just missed the corner completely. I don't know what's happened there, but all importantly for these two at the front, they are very, very close together indeed. So much so there is barely enough to put put a piece of paper between them as they go down towards Druids for the final time. Daniel Wareham, sorry, has got the outside. Harry Fox looks at the inside of the double right-hander of Druids, doesn't manage to get it done, and Daniel Wareham just about holds on, but we've got one more heavy braking zone. And interestingly, you see there Wareham just goes to the inside very, very early, knows he can cover that inside, and if he can keep the position, he will win this race. But he tries to go around the outside. Does Fox? He's going to try. He's going to go for the move. He's got the run. Is he going to be the shorter run to the line? Is he going to take the win on the final lap of this race? No, he doesn't. That is so I mean, I'm assuming this is the final lap anyway. It looks like it is looking at them slowing down. Yes, it is. It is definitely the last lap of the race because I can see them slowing down. That is incredible stuff from those two to wrap up this final race of the season. That is so close between them. Daniel Wareham takes the win in the end. Harry Fox comes through in P2. Alan McCain coming through for P3, and Aaron Kirby coming through in P4. Arthur Thurtle dropped back down to P5 in the end after that little mistake going through his lots. Mark Brown, Michael Seal, Eugene Weber, our pole position sitter. Kieran Gannon and Carl Hardy round out your top 10. Gareth Newton sits in P11. Sam Smith and David Smith 12th and 13th. And then Sean Weber, Jay De Vries, Jamie Buchanan, James Bostock, Dan Lewis, Ryan Dudley and Peter Sikdar round out your top 20. And I can take a breath because that last lap for anything, Ash, was incredible. But both of those races, they were mad, weren't they? There's so much action going on. I feel for you a little bit, mate, because it must have been difficult to figure out where to look.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said earlier, looking at the time screen, there was bunches of cars that were nose to tail all down the field. Unfortunately, we can't watch every single battle. If we could, it would be amazing, but unfortunately we can't. But yeah, absolutely fantastic racing from these guys tonight. It's made me very optimistic about the racing that we're going to see when we start to broadcast the Tanso guys series in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Plenty of action. And like you say, plenty to keep you going in the meantime as well. Plenty to look forward to on the Pospo YouTube channel, especially from the iRacing perspective going forwards. As I mentioned at the top of the stream, this was a one-off little kind of, I suppose, a little bit of a dry run, a test stream ahead of the season starting again on the 19th of March for the Tanso Racing Group Sunday League, which we are hosting exclusively live on the Positive Perception YouTube channel. So on the 19th of March, it's rounds 1 and 2 at Okayama International. 26th of March brings us Rudskogen Motor Park. Rounds 3 and 4. Brands Hatch GP is the venue for the 2nd of April, rounds 5 and 6. Oran Park Raceway starts the second half of the season on the 9th of April. Silverstone Legacy Circuit, the national layout, on the 16th. And then to round out, we've got rounds 11 and 12 on Sunday, the 23rd of April at the Donington Park GP Circuit. So, in the meantime, you can watch this back, obviously, because YouTube's good like that. So if you're not watching this live and you're watching it back, then thank you for coming back in. And as you said many times already, if you do enjoy the stream, make sure you hit the like, subscribe button and all that good stuff so that we know that people like this and we want to obviously do more of it going forwards as well. But Ash, before we wrap up, mate, any final thoughts from you ahead of a little bit of a break for us and a rejig, a refresh ahead of the season when we get to do the whole thing from start to finish?
Not much more than what I've said already. So I'm very looking forward to broadcasting the rest of the series. Well, their new series that's coming up that you've just mentioned. Yeah, that's about it. To be honest, I'm just very much looking forward to it.
Absolutely great stuff. Well, in the meantime, please come back and join us on the 11th of March because we've got the first of the Positive Perception Endurance Championship races at the 6 hours of Watkins Glen. So come and join me for that one. I know you'll be on that track, Ash. You remember to join me in the comms box. Unfortunately, only stewarding actually, aren't you? I believe.
Yes, I'll be live stewarding that. So I might get some spare time, hopefully, to come and join you in the commentary box. I'm sure Bossman will give me a couple of minutes spare.
Absolutely. Well, you're more than welcome. And if anyone is watching this and they want to join the Tanso Racing Group Leagues, then jump into our Discord server because I can't find the link for the Tanso one right now. But I have put a permanent link in our server. So if you want to get into there, if you don't know where to go, then jump into ours and you can jump into theirs as well. Because like I say, if this is anything to go by, we've got a fantastic season coming up for you next time round. In the meantime, stay safe, stay well, everyone. Thank you very much.